Mr. Cheney always said he'd given up his financial stake in Halliburton when he became vice president. But it seems that he'd bowled a fast one. 2 years after the invasion, it was revealed that Mr. Cheney still had stock options in Halliburton. It was only then that he sold $8 million worth and gave the money to charity. He's still got nearly $5 million worth of those options. The war was ringing the tills for corporate America. But what about their people, civilians on the front line? Was profit put before their safety? Over 1,000 KBR truckers deliver the bullets and the beans in huge convoys, snaking across the Badlands. It feels like a million miles away from Oregon, where I met the family of one driver who signed up for KBR in Iraq 4 years ago. Reggie Lane was attracted by the pay and the advert, which assured him he'd be 100% safe, not a promise the military would ever make.
They had promised that the people who would go over there to work would be well protected.
But Reggie found himself dodging bullets. There weren't enough troops to protect the convoys. Angry truckers even filmed themselves under fire.
God damn! I'm down!
Reg is not one to tell me that they're getting shot at.
I'm fixing to get killed, goddammit!
He's not one to tell me that it's terrifying over there.
April the 9th, 2004 was Good Friday. KBR convoys came under sustained, coordinated attack from first thing in the morning. One driver was kidnapped, his ordeal recorded by a film crew passing at that moment.
What's happened?
Oh.
They attacked our convoy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Several hours after the attacks began, Reggie was told to go out on a convoy.
And these drivers knew something was up, and they were ordered by the KBR to get in their trucks and to drive. He took an RPG through the window of his truck. It went in the window and took off his right arm, just below the elbow. And then someone shot him on his left arm and shattered both bones. And it was in pretty bad shape. Lost a lot of blood.
Reggie's heart stopped. His brain was severely damaged.
I can't taste a cold beer, and I think he'd like to do that. He can't put his arms around me.
Six truckers and 2 soldiers died that day. Many others suffered serious injuries.
KBR promised protection for these people, and I think they failed to provide it.
"19 truckers' families are suing KBR for failing to protect them. 110 civilians working for KBR have been killed in Iraq. KBR says its priority remains the safety and security of all its employees, and it is saddened by the events of April the 9th. But 2 KBR drivers told Congress the company ran empty trucks across Iraq, despite the risk to their truckers. No one knows why, but with cost plus, The more they rolled, the more KBR made. A Pentagon audit found that Halliburton overcharged by $108 million for supplying and trucking fuel. Critics reject Halliburton's protest that out of revenues of $20 billion, they only made $500 million profit because of the difficult environment.
It gets me very angry when I think about the waste of money and mismanagement. A war shouldn't be an opportunity for some people to get rich, while our young men and women are making, in many cases, the ultimate sacrifice of their lives.
Mr. Waxman's committee only began probing the contracts in Iraq a year after the invasion. But not to worry, somebody had been keeping watch before that. So where would you find a reputable auditor capable of overseeing all those billions? In the financial powerhouse of New York, perhaps? The reality's less Wall Street, more Wisteria Lane. It's here the story of the missing billions becomes really bizarre.
It's hard to believe it, but this quiet neighborhood in Southern California actually holds the key to the secret of what happened to billions of dollars that have gone missing.
This ordinary-looking house in La Jolla is home to Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Howell and their company. Its speciality? Kitchen design. But the Howells apparently have other skills. Another of their companies registered in the house, North Star, won the contract to set up an oversight system for all those pallet loads of cash that arrived at the palace after the invasion. The contract asked for certified public accountants. North Star had none.
Keep your lid on and stop.
To this day, $8 billion North Star was overseeing is not properly accounted for.
Mr. Howell?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. We wanted to know if we could ask you some questions about North Star and Iraq. We're doing some research into the Iraq Reconstruction Fund.
Yeah, there's nothing basically to answer. It's all documented.
And was it a Pentagon contract, or...?
Yeah.
And can you say any more about that? But can I ask you why the job wasn't done, Mr. Howell? The Inspector General for Iraq said the job wasn't effectively done.
So why did they get the contract?
Well, we don't know why they got the contract. It's inexplicable to us. It looks like a sweetheart deal that they got this contract because they didn't have the capability or the competence. They were chosen without competing bids. And we're not sure what they did for that contract.
Shared section.
Great. Still the way steering wheel.
Even the monster fighters.
North Star was small time compared to what some of America's biggest corporate names began to fritter away in Iraq. Congress appointed Stuart Bowen, Special Inspector General for Iraq Reconstruction, to find out what on earth was happening to the money.
The challenge right out of the box was the expenditure of an enormous amount of U.S. taxpayer dollars, the largest foreign aid program since the Marshall Plan. Fraud is the smallest component to date, but waste and mismanagement has been the challenge, and that's largely driven by the security environment over there.
In 19 trips to Iraq, the Inspector Generals uncovered the scale of the bungling and waste by some of America's best-known companies.
What a difference it will make in the life of Iraqi children
when they have a modern medical facility right in their own country.
There was Project Hope, championed by Laura Bush. Bechtel got a $50 million contract to build a children's hospital in Basra, but the cost trebled and their contract wasn't renewed. Not surprisingly, Bechtel blames the insurgency.